T-minus 50 seconds. T-minus 40 seconds. T-minus 30 seconds. T-minus 20 seconds. Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling show on the planet.
Well, hello everybody. Welcome to Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling show on the planet. My name is Ella Jay, host of a Wrestling Gal podcast and correspondent for SE Scoops. And I am also not alone. I am also here with the host of It's Samira interviews and correspondent for SE Scoops as well, and Wrestling News Co. Samira. So thank you for watching the Women's Wrestling News Edition. We have so much to talk about today, Samira. There's a lot going on right now that we literally have to check our phones for updates, because if everybody isn't aware, as people are saying already in the comments, WWE is currently doing another round of releases, and they are literally happening as we are on the air right now.
Yeah.
So Samira, first of all, before we even get into who's been released so far and they're still oncoming, like, what are your thoughts?
I'm surprised by some of them. Some of them I'm not, they haven't used them, but like, I'm just like, some of them that they are releasing, I'm like, what? You just had these people, like, why are you doing this? I don't know, but I know all these amazing people will land on their feet. There's so many places that they will end up. So this is, this is only the beginning for them. But it's just very shocking to see. They said only like a few names, and we're getting a whole list of them, and it feels like it's just not stopping.
Yeah, so far, the first one to be announced release was Scarlett Bordeaux, who has a 30-day non-compete clause, followed by Frankie Monet, who just had a NXT Women's Championship match not too long ago, and if I'm not mistaken, was like just on NXT not too long ago. Again, that's a theme for a lot of the people released so far, and so far, obviously, B-Fab of Hit Row just got called up and was just on SmackDown.
Doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense.
Ember Moon, a former NXT Women's Champion. Oh my gosh, some of these names. There's Zayda Ramir too. Literally getting live updates. There's Jessie Kamea, who is also part of the Robert Stone brand, along with Frankie Monet. There's Katrina Cortez, and literally some of them are still happening as we're here. Yeah, Taya Valkyrie. Yeah, Taya Valkyrie, Frankie Monet just came into WWE earlier this year. Releases are literally still happening, but some of these have been here for a while, like Jessie Kamea and Ember Moon have been here for a few years now, but some other ones like B-Fab, Taya Valkyrie, Zayda Ramir, Scarlett Bordeaux has been here for about a year and a half, I would say, maybe 2 years. But a lot of them.
But they didn't. Oh, they just got rid of Grand Metalik right now.
Yeah,
he asked for his release recently, but regarding Scarlett Bordeaux, honestly, I felt that they did not use her in the best way at all. They did not use her at all, in the way that she is. So I'm honestly happy to see her leave now, that she'll go somewhere else and do what she did before on the independents, because she was great. And I was so confused why they just left her in this manager role. And then when Karen Cross got called up, she didn't go with them. what was their plans for her?
Yeah,
What
they
was
got rid
it?
of Zeta Ramir, Stephanie. Yes, Sean Ross Sapp reported that 6 minutes ago. Formerly known as AQA, if I'm correct, from the Texas scene, who literally just debuted this year. A lot of the women released today just debuted in NXT this year. Zeta Ramir, Frankie Monet, aka Taya Valkyrie, B Fab. I mean, B Fab had made appearances before, but really just got started with Hit Row, and so. I mean, I guess we'll never truly understand some of these, but like you said, Scarlett Bordeaux, I feel like it was very odd that she was not called up with it was very odd that she was not called up with Carrion Cross, and so we don't know. It's been confirmed that she has a 30-day non-compete clause. So the earliest we could be seeing her would be December 4th, December 5th.
Yeah, so she could, like, as soon as she can get in right before the end of the year, and I'm sure people will snatch her right up. Will she go back to Impact Wrestling, or could we see her in AEW? I mean, she had a lot to offer, so we could possibly see her anywhere or any of these people.
Yeah, a lot of these, yeah, I know. Same. This is our reaction to
Yeah.
a lot of these. Oh, TK's here too.
TK.
TK, let me know if you want me to add you. There's a lot going
We
on
all
here.
have a lot to say about what's going on. It's very shocking.
It really is. There's
It
so
just
much
go-
going on.
It just goes to show you it doesn't matter how long you've been there or when you've been on TV or anything like that. It just goes to show you you're not safe no matter what. And that is scary. That really is.
Lindsay Dorado was also just released, but yeah, a lot of the women
Oh
from
my
NXT, actually
God.
all of them, well, besides B Fab, was just called up during the draft. Like I
I don't
really
get
don't
it.
have words. I feel extremely terrible though for Frankie Taya because she left Impact to go pursue her dream where her husband John Morrison is back in WWE. So like what's in limbo now? Nothing. My soul hurts too, Steph. My soul really hurts.
I just don't get it. Like she was doing so great in NXT and she was like they were building her up and stuff. So tell me how did it make sense to get rid of her just like that? Like I just don't get it. I really don't. Like when they always do these releases, they always get rid of people you see on TV, like stuff like that. Can somebody tell me how to make it make sense? And now we're seeing like T-Fab, like she was just with Hit Row. Like what are they gonna do now without her? I know like the team goes on, but like she was the only girl member. Like what? I just don't get it. Tell me how it makes sense. I really don't.
I don't know. I know at least with Frankie, I know NXT has been pushing this. You have to be under 30 unless it's certain circumstances. And obviously Frankie Taya Valkyrie is in her mid 30s. And so I don't know if that has something to do with it. Nothing's been confirmed. This is speculation. I don't know. But they've just adopted this new narrative since NXT 2.0 came out. And obviously almost all of the releases today have been NXT talent with the exception of a few call-ups. And of course, like Grand Metalik and Lindsay Dorado. Taya is 38. Yeah. But I mean, Taya Valkyrie tweeted out that she's ready for the return of Taya Valkyrie, it seems. And so, I mean, it was a good run, I must say. I mean, she came in really strongly with Presley, her dog, her gorgeous dog. But then she got involved obviously with the Robert Stone brand and even recently had an NXT Women's Championship opportunity against Raquel. And it seemed like they were going in a positive direction with her and Jessie Kamea. So now the rest of the Robert Stone brand, besides Robert Stone, has been eradicated, it seems.
I don't get why they put him in a manager position. Not that he's not good for it, but like he was really good as a wrestler as well. Like why do they, do that to them? Like they have the ability to wrestle. Let them wrestle as well. So I wonder what this means for him. Is he going to get a new Robert Stone brand team? Like what happens to him? Don't tell me he's the next to go. He's been with them since I believe 2018. Because I remember I interviewed him and then he got signed not too long after that. So I don't get it.
Yes, Steph, there was a report that with new recruits they're trying to do 30 and under unless like they're very well established like indie talent or a name, but they're trying not to secure indie talent anymore. They're trying to make them more homegrown apparently. It was just also confirmed that Carrion Cross was released by WWE. obviously so was Scarlett Bordeaux, and that is also very unfortunate.
I'm like, I just keep like looking and like
Same.
refreshing,
Just keep
'cause it's
refreshing pretty much right
happening.
now.
I don't understand why age is such a factor. If they are like, if they have the ability to still work in the ring, then it's fine. What does age have to do with anything? It's honestly ridiculous. And then their mentality about indie wrestlers, like, what's the problem with having independent wrestlers come into WWE? Like, I don't get it. I really don't.
I don't know. I unfortunately just remember reading that. I don't understand the mentality either, but obviously they're trying to adopt and create stars for the future and cultivate them themselves, like a PC bred talent. And so, I mean, that's all of the women so far that have been released. Frankie Monet, Scarlett Bordeaux, Zeta Ramir, Jessie Kamea, Katrina Cortez, Ember Moon. Oh my gosh, there's so many right now. It's really honestly sad. Gosh, it's just,
They didn't do. I felt like when they brought Carrion Cross. What was his independent wrestling name again? I totally forget because it's been like so long.
Killer Cross.
Killer Cross, and I felt like they didn't do him well either on the main roster. Like they changed up his whole thing. Like what? Like I don't know. But like I said in the beginning of when we were starting this, like they will all land on their feet in other promotions. Like they're better off, to be honest. Like they'll be fine. But like it's
B-Fab too. Yeah, it's really sad, especially because a lot of them just got their footing like off the ground. Like Jessie Kamea was in developmental for a long time before getting really the spotlight with the Robert Stone brand. Obviously with Frankie, Taya was a very much well-established name, so there was potential there to kind of develop Jessie Kamea too, with the help of a veteran like Frankie Monet, Taya Valkyrie. Yeah, it's definitely insane, to say the least. But I mean, do you want to talk about some more positive stuff, Samira?
Yeah, and if there's any more updates, I'm sure
obviously we'll keep everybody updated from what we see.
As Ella and I are on our phones while this is going on because we want to make sure
literally just refreshing. Of course, releases are still happening at this moment, but I guess we'll try to focus on some positive news and the fact that positive women's wrestling news. Shimmer just returned over the weekend, and there was new champions crowned. I mean, the famous all-women's promotion Shimmer just made its return for the first time in over a year last weekend on Halloween night, October 31st. Shows had been halted for about a year, of course, due to the pandemic. But prior to the show, Shimmer was last seen last year at the Collective last October. And actually, this show marked its 16 years since they first opened their doors in 2005. And of course, there was two shows, one at noon and one at 4 p.m. taking place in Berwyn, Illinois, and new champions were crowned at both shows. Samira, do you want to tell them who those new champions are?
Oh, well, before we get into that, Sean Ross Sapp did tweet that he gave up an update of everybody that's been, released. I think this is hopefully the end and no more. We're not getting any more names, but it seems to be over.
Yep.
Hopefully.
So to recap, Sean Ross Sapp just tweeted, in all, we've learned the following WWE releases. Obviously, Carrion Cross and Scarlett Bordeaux. B-Fab of Hit Row is kind of strange, just her. Grand Metalik and Lindsay Dorado, Katrina Cortez, Ember Moon, Frankie Monet, Trey Baxter, G Drama, Oni Lorcan, Zeta Ramir, and Jessie Kamea. So as of now, those are all the confirmed, with a large majority of them being women. But
that doesn't sit right with me. I don't get it.
It's absolutely insane. Yeah, it's definitely it's a sad day. It's always a sad day seeing WWE releases. But I mean, if you've seen the track record of some of the people who have released, they've definitely thrived outside of WWE. I mean, look at Deonna Purrazzo, look at Mickie James, Chelsea Green, John. I mean, John Moxley wasn't released, he
Ruby
left. But I mean,
Soho.
Miro, I mean, you have a lot of people. I mean, look at Adam Cole now. I mean, he wasn't released, but left. But I mean, you know, a lot of the people from WWE have already had successful careers and trajectories outside of the company. So of course, it definitely is a sad day, especially for such like up and coming talent where a lot of them were in NXT or just got called up, like B-Fab. I don't know what's gonna happen with Hit Row now.
I wonder if they'll mention it, like, you know, because obviously there's gonna be something off come Friday. Like, what's exactly gonna happen?
Yeah,
Oh wait,
mean,
whoa! Now reporting that Nia
no,
Jax has been released by WWE, and
Keith
Harry
Lee,
Smith, Keith Lee. What is
Nia Jax?
Yo, I just thought it was over. It is not over. Mia Yim is gone.
Oh my god!
Who the heck is gonna be left? Who's gonna be left in this company? Somebody tell me. No, I told you, nobody's position is like safe. No matter how long you've been working there or if you were just on TV, nobody's job is safe. This is crazy. I didn't think more was gonna happen. I'm scared to see who else is going to go.
I'm so sad about Mia Yim.
Didn't they just have her on TV?
No, not yet. Mia Yim was just drafted to Raw after being gone for literally almost a year since Retribution. And we haven't seen her in about a year. We haven't seen her as Mia Yim herself. In literally probably since like midsummer of last year on NXT. And I was so excited when she got drafted to hear that. And then to her not even to be able to have a run now on Monday Night Raw where she was just drafted. Like they waste. Oh gosh, I could go on and on.
I'm scared to keep refreshing my phone because that's what I keep doing, and I'm just scared.
I know she did have health issues, so she was out for a while. But I was so much looking forward to her going back to Monday Night Raw. Nia Jax is a shocker.
Wasn't she? I think what I remember, as I have not watched WWE programming in a bit, is that something happened between her and Charlotte Flair. Now, was she out? I don't is she out? Like, is she out with injury or something?
I don't even know anymore.
I agree with you, Felix. This is so much wasted talent because in the end, all these people, well, some of these people were, you know, sitting, you know, and you know, it's hard when you have a big roster and you only have so much show time on each show, and I understand that is difficult, but it's just like it's sad that you don't get to see some of these people, their faces, and see them wrestle, and it just goes to show you like all these people that are there, like how much, you know, it is wasted talent.
It's so sad too because last heard, I don't know if she was injured. I don't know if during that Charlotte match that everybody knows it was apparently a shoot. Mia was out taking care of Keith, and Keith came out to a couple weeks ago on YouTube about that and all that. She was taking care of him. And I feel like Mia, I mean, maybe just because I love her and like I believe in her so much and like she just has such a powerful story. So many people that never even got a shot. Yeah, that is correct, Felix. Like, I was so excited. Mia Yim was just called up and then didn't even get to have her foot off the ground back in a proper main roster run. We just had that few months of Retribution. And now I'm honestly shocked at
This
Nia
is not
Jax.
how we wanted to start
the
news tonight, you guys. We really, this is just a shock. I remember you know, we've been hearing about it all day. Wait, something else happened. Eva Marie has been released. I did not see that one coming, considering like they hyped her up so much. That's a surprise.
Eva Marie, I mean, she hasn't been on TV. She hasn't been on TV really, since about SummerSlam?
Somebody said that she was going to shoot a movie or something, but they were going to then keep her around for... I don't know how I feel. I don't know.
Oh my gosh.
This
Yeah,
is just,
they had that whole Eva Marie and Dewdrop thing. Yeah, I didn't see that even. Then again,
I don't know.
who's to say anymore? Never say never.
Nobody is
With
safe.
this, nobody. I'm so sad for Keith Lee too. I know this is women's wrestling talk, but I am
Like, we're
so
sad
sad.
for everybody, like, that's
Yeah.
losing their jobs right now.
Yeah. Harry Smith too has been released, and he just had that one dark match, and then like that's it. And then he's already been released again. I don't like the women's divisions, especially like the women's tag team divisions has already been dwindling. Not that any of these women were in tag teams, but you
They put them
just
in
had
tag teams randomly.
yeah, and you just had this draft where you like what is going to happen with these diminishing rosters right now?
Especially the women's division.
To
Like,
be to be fair,
what
even more
women's division is left? We only have like who? Somebody tell me, because we're losing people left and right and left and right. Like, who's left? Like, because I know somebody's gonna come on and tweet out later. They always then tweet who's left on each roster, and we're gonna see that there's not much women left on this roster. Who are they planning to bring in that is gonna make up for this? Like, are you supposed to use the same people every single time? Somebody explain to me this. I really don't. I don't get this. I just feel so bad for everybody because this is just crazy.
nobody is safe. Oh my gosh. Eva Marie, I'm honestly shocked by, but then again, never say never in the world of professional wrestling. People have been released from WWE and then had a match air the same night. Yeah.
That was like
Yeah,
Alex Zane.
this is a problem too.
Mhm.
There's definitely been a lot of women of
Women of
color
color.
released today.
A lot.
They lost an experience.
They lost a lot of people, like people that have especially been in this in the independents for a very long time and then came in. Like earlier in the year we lost Mercedes Martinez, and look what she's doing. She's back on the independent circuit and like thriving, whatever. And that's where all these people are gonna do. They're gonna go thrive out without WWE like they did before, to be honest. Like that's what's just gonna happen. But it is very sad though. You just like see this. I was expecting a few names here tonight, not this, not all of this.
No, and we don't even know if it's done yet. It just keeps updating. Like the amount of women that have been released from an already, I feel like, floundering roster is kind of scary. But like you said, if there's any proof that, I mean, obviously you can do well outside of WWE, but it also sucks that people are losing their jobs. But I mean, if you look at people like Mercedes Martinez or like, I mean, honestly, I think Deonna Purrazzo is honestly the perfect like most notable example. Like look at what she's been able to accomplish over the last 19 months at this point since being released. Hello, welcome. This does suck. We've
been talking about it for like the most of the show.
We're trying to keep it positive here, but I mean, look at the trajectory that Deonna Purrazzo has been able to cement herself, and even Mickie James too, and even, I mean, Chelsea Green, and of course you have like Miro, who's been a TNT champion too in AEW. There really is, WWE is not the end all be all anymore. There's AEW, there's Impact, there's
many.
Ring of Honor, there's Stardom.
MLW.
Yeah.
There's so many places anywhere they could go, and they will thrive and strive wherever they might go. Because like all of them are talented, and there'll be so much more for them than just there. Really, like they will.
Man, I keep refreshing and refreshing.
I've stopped like looking. Like if it pops up as a notification, I'll click. But it's just a little. Oh my gosh.
Of
Hopefully
course,
that was it.
Of course, it sucks that people lose their jobs, but at the end of the day, like there is so many other great promotions out there where you can make a name for yourself and really get the proper like creative freedom that a lot of people have been craving, where a lot of the times they're held back creatively or booking wise. And of course, there's more freedom in other places.
I definitely agree with Shadow Ranger saying these releases suck even more with the recent ROH news. That's, less place for people to go. And that is very sad. I know that I just had some friends that had tapings this past couple of days, and you know, they were crying, saying, you know, like, can't believe this is like final taping. It is sad, like, especially with ROH, like, are they gonna come back? Or are they not come back? You know, and you know, hope for the best.
We love you, Steph. And budget cuts were cited as the reason again
And
for
an email from
releases,
John Laurinaitis.
apparently. So yeah, I guess it all comes down to budget cuts again, but I mean, who's really to say? Kind of highly doubt it. But like we said, our hearts go out to all of the talent released today, and I mean, there could possibly be more, but all of these talent like range from like newer stars to very experienced veterans, and I think, yeah, budget cuts is the easiest answer too, apparently. But I mean, like we said, there's been multiple examples now that
What was their third quarter report today? Was it bad?
Oh gosh.
I saw one of the, you know, wrestling websites publish it on my feed, but I didn't get a chance to look at it before we came on the air. And was it so bad that they needed to cut people? They always say it's budget cuts. Like, is it that bad?
But they still got the Peacock.
Yeah, they got all that money from Peacock, and
they got all the money from the Peacock, apparently, though. But yeah, I mean, oh man, there is some positive news though coming. Let's
talk about positive news and what's going on, guys, because there's a lot of stuff happening in women's wrestling this week. Let's talk about the positives.
The positive
news. No more releases.
I mean, we'll keep you updated with releases if we see any. We're currently refreshing, but moving on to.
Oh no! Okay, never mind.
Maybe
we're done.
Maybe this is the last. I think that's the last of it. It seems Eva Marie might be the last one that's been announced as being released.
Yeah.
Oh man, some of these I'm just so shocked by. But moving on to positive news, like I said, speaking of all women's wrestling, Shimmer returned last weekend. We have 2 new champions. Nevaeh, which is a former Impact Knockout, is the new Heart of Shimmer champion after defeating the Renaissance woman Hyon. And then Nevaeh then went on to the second show to successfully retain against Davian, who is from the Boston, Massachusetts area, and who just had a recent appearance on AEW Dark. She defeated her on the Shimmer 120 show. But Samira, that's not the only new champion we got out of Shimmer, right?
Yes. Well, speaking of Davian, though, she and Hot Scoop Skylar will be at MLW this Saturday. So that's exciting to see that they will be, you know, are they joining MLW? Is this a one-time thing? So that's exciting as MLW builds up their women's division. Had to put that in there.
That is true.
But we also have, you know, the Sea Stars, Ashley Vox and Delmy XO. You know, they defended their Shimmer Tag Team Championships at both of the shows. And the first was against Kayla Cassidy, which didn't she recently return, I believe, to
Kayla Cassidy returned to professional wrestling, yes.
And her and Sierra, and then against, you know, Blonde Force Trauma, Heather Monroe, and Ray Lynn. However, there was one other new champion crowned, though. The Shimmer champion Kimberly retained her championship at Shimmer 119 against Willow Nightingale, but then she lost to Zoe Sky at Shimmer 120. So now Zoe Sky is the brand new Shimmer champion. So that's very exciting. Lots of, you know, I'm happy women's wrestling of, you know, Shimmer is back because like we know a lot of the faces. So it was very exciting.
And of course, like one of the major stars on that Shimmer show too was Mercedes Martinez, who was released from WWE earlier in the summer, a couple months ago. I think it's only been about 2-3 months. But Mercedes Martinez was on there. She's obviously doing fantastic things in Impact right now. She's going to be facing Mickie James for the Knockouts Championship in a few weeks. She's been at a lot of indie shows. And of course, you had Charlie Evans on that show, Lainey Lux. You had the NWA Women's Tag Team Champions, the Hex on there, Jody Threat, and a lot more. But it's cool that Zoe Sky is now the champion because she's been in the wrestling game for a bit now. And Kimberly had that Shimmer championship for a long while. So to see a new champion crown, I feel like is a cool, what a way to really, I think, break in this new era of Shimmer. And I'm still looking at these releases happening, but we're trying to focus on the positives right now.
It's hard.
It's hard. But yeah, Shimmer being back though is definitely wonderful news considering all the crazy news of today. There is some other positive news though, of course. Brit Baker also made history last week on AEW talking about strong women in wrestling. She competed in her not her first, not her second, not her third, but her fourth main event in AEW, and she became the first woman in AEW history to compete in 4 main events after last week's Rampage against Abaddon. How amazing.
That match was very good. I was watching it. Oh my gosh. I remember like watching, I was like, oh my god, like her spitting the thumb in the mouth, and I was just like, oh my god, what is going on here? But it was amazing. Like, but they are killing it. They really are.
And of course, Baker did previously and notably competed in the first ever women's main event against Thunder Rosa on March 17th. Everybody remembers that amazing day on Dynamite and the first ever women's lights out match. And of course, she also defended her AEW Women's Championship against Red Velvet in the premiere episode of Rampage in Britsburg, aka Pittsburgh. And of course, she did also recently retain her AEW Women's Championship against Ruby Soho in the main event of Dynamite's Grand Slam event a few weeks ago. And she did also recently rank number 4 on the PWI Women's 150 list. So Britt Baker, that's a positive note of this last week, that's for sure. Man, Britt Baker's been killing it though. But obviously there's been other news too. I mean, talking about NXT, obviously.
As we go back to WWE news.
These releases, man.
At least this is not another release update. We think that they're done.
No.
Hopefully.
No, it is not a release update, but it is kind of a sad thing. Obviously not everything in wrestling is. There's good and the bad, but apparently Zoe Stark, which is a former NXT Women's Tag Team Champion, is reportedly out with a legitimate injury.
Sadness.
So Samira, you want to take it away?
Okay, so of course, according to Post Wrestling, it is like, she's reported sidelined with a legitimate possible knee injury. She was like seen last week being attacked by, Toxic Attraction last Tuesday on NXT 2.0 and clutching her left knee. So like we thought, perhaps to write her off television. She previously competed in a Scareway to Hell ladder match the week previously on the Halloween Havoc show where her and Io Shirai lost the NXT Women's Tag Team Championships to Gigi and JC. So like that's probably what's going on. And then they went on to confirm that they were told that she listed as internally as she was actually injured, and they were still working at the time to confirm how severe the injury was and how much time she'll be scheduled to miss out. So and then after that, multiple sources were confirmed that her injury was legitimate. So, but here at Women's Wrestling Talk, we do wish her a speedy recovery.
Of course. And I mean, oh man, Zoe Stark I feel like has definitely had a breakout year. And again, she's also one too, much like a lot of the women today that we've been talking about, just got signed to WWE late last year, if not early this year. Obviously, she made her debut in the Women's Dusty Rhodes Classic earlier this year before going on to defeat like Toni Storm and a lot of other amazing women. And of course, teaming up with Io Shirai. They definitely make an interesting duo. Even Io Shirai says that she doesn't like Zoe Stark, but they still won the NXT Women's Tag Team Championships and are actually the longest reigning NXT Women's Tag Team Champions. They held them for, July through late October. So about 3.5 months they held them. And of course, like Samira said, I don't know if they wrote her off television or what exactly the injury is. She did clutch her left knee in that scene after being attacked by Toxic Attraction. So it looks like maybe Io Shirai is the next one in line for Mandy Rose, perhaps. As it looks like Go ahead.
Ooh, I'm sorry to interrupt. I do have an update for us on releases. It looks like Frankie, as we all know, and on the independent scene that she is coming back, but she actually has a 30-day no-compete clause, as she just tweeted 30 days and she's back. So I wonder if that means for the rest of them, as well 30-day no compete clause, or is it just certain people?
Scarlett is 30 days. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Because now
know.
that I saw that, Frankie
Mhm.
just tweeted it, so
Yeah, I
I
see
wonder
that.
how it works for everybody else.
We'll see. I don't know if there's a difference between main roster people and NXT people. We'll see. We'll definitely keep you updated if it becomes available while we're still on the air. But yeah, a lot of stuff is still literally happening currently in the WWE world. Just it's just crazy. Like, there's a large variety of people who some of them had main roster is 90 days. Okay.
Oh,
To be fair
wow.
though, didn't oh no, Alistair's was on a technicality. His was 30
Yeah.
days, but they thought it was 90. So yeah, maybe that is correct.
I feel bad for then T-Fab because she just literally got to
BFAB,
the
yeah.
main roster. Like, that's...
Yeah,
I
we
don't
don't know what the
know.
future. I mean, SmackDown is airing tomorrow, so perhaps we'll get some answers tomorrow on SmackDown with the absence of BFAB on Hit Row
What
on
did I say? Did I
SmackDown.
say T-Fab?
Yeah.
Oh my god, I'm
It's
confusing
okay.
it. Oh my god, I'm saying something else
You're
because I'm
thinking
thinking
of
about...
T-Bar, I think.
Oh my god, my brain is mixing up people so much.
Yeah. Oh, thank you, Leslie, too. Thank you for hopping in here. We're trying.
As these releases are coming and we are just
Not
very
sure if
sad.
BFAB's paper. I don't know.
I'm sure it was just because the draft did happen a long, a long time
I
ago
don't know.
already.
Does
I
Hit Row
think...
continue on without BFAB? They're gonna have to come up with some explanation because weren't they just on like last week, if not the week before?
Yeah. I mean, they're gonna have to go on without her. What are they gonna do with them? Or are they gonna have somebody else join them? But I think that would be dumb. Like, why are they cutting so much of the women's division is the real question.
So SmackDown has what now? Like 8 or 9 women. So you have obviously Charlotte, Sasha, Zaya, Aaliyah. You have Sonya, Shayna, Naomi, Tony Shotzi. So that's 9. Oh, Natalia. So you have 10. If I'm counting correctly, correct me if I'm wrong. They were bowing to King Woods last week. See, I thought they were on. They were literally just on SmackDown next week, and SmackDown is airing tomorrow. So you have 10 women on SmackDown. And then you have, obviously, Nia Jax is now gone from Raw. Mia Yim is gone from Raw. Eva Marie was a free agent. So Raw now is down 2 women. So they have Alexa, Becky, Bianca, Dewdrop, my brain, Tegan, Tamina. My brain
Carmella?
is mush right now. Carmella, Zelina, Rhea, Nikki. So 11. If I'm forgetting somebody, I apologize. So they have 11 women now, if I'm thinking correctly. And obviously you still have some free agents. Yeah, I counted 9 for SmackDown. Maybe I counted somebody twice. I apologize. My brain is mush. So you have 11 women on Raw right now when in 9 or 10 on SmackDown.
That's scary.
Yeah, I
think
mean
NXT has what? More than that, would you
NXT
say?
has a lot of women.
Is there plan to bring up more people from NXT? Like, is that what they're trying to do? I don't get it, to be honest. I really don't.
I don't know. I counted 12 for Raw. Who am I missing from
Wait,
Raw?
here. I'll go
I
on
counted 10 on
WWE.com
SmackDown and 12 on
check.
Raw. My brain is
Hang
I
on.
could be totally missing somebody. It's
Let
very,
me
very
go.
possible.
Do they have the rosters on their
Oh,
website?
yeah, that's true. Or on the WWE.
I'll go and look.
Or on the WWE app.
I don't have the app anymore.
Oh gosh. Oh no, I still have it. I can go check the app right now.
I'm looking right now. Okay.
Superstars. Oh gosh. Okay.
Okay.
Superstars. It doesn't even let you go by brands anymore. It just
this is dumb. Oh, here, I got it. Okay, so on Raw, we have Alexa Bliss, Becky Lynch, Bianca Belair, Carmella, Dana Brooke, Duo Drop.
Dana was the one I forgot. It is 12
Liv
for Raw
Morgan,
then. Oh, Liv.
Nikki Ash, Queen Zelina, Rhea Ripley, Tamina, Tegan Knox, and that's it. That's what, did I say 12?
I think it's 13 because I forgot Liv and Dana. I think it's 12 or
No, 12.
13.
All right. No, it was 12 because I kept going with my fingers. And
Okay.
for SmackDown, here I'm clicking. We need exact numbers here, people.
Yeah.
um,
Wow.
I just didn't count.
Oh,
They
no,
still
no,
had-
no. You forgot Dewdrop. You didn't say
No, I
Dewdrop.
said
Oh,
I
you
did
did?
say it, yeah.
This is
Okay, so
crazy.
SmackDown, because I'm not counting obviously the people that just got released because they
Yeah.
weren't on there. Aaliyah, Charlotte Flair, scrolling, hang on. Naomi, Natalia, Sasha, Shayna, Shotzi, Tony, and Xia Li.
And
So 9.
Sonya. And well, Sonya, if you count her.
Yeah, we'll count her. So that's 10.
10.
9, 10, like on SmackDown.
So 10 on SmackDown.
And 12 on Raw. I think.
And then you have 18 for NXT. NXT has a lot. NXT has definitely been a lot better about featuring their women, which I think makes it even more of a shocker that a lot of them have been released. Honestly, at this point, have to agree with you. You have the NXT Women's Tag Team Championships. I mean, you have enough women on NXT to be able to formulate teams, but they just broke up Frankie and Jessie, who were a formidable tag team, and they're on the Robert Stone brand. I don't even know what's going to happen right now. Obviously, Zoe Stark now is out injured. You literally have 2 tag teams between Raw and SmackDown. Somehow Carmella and Queen Zelina are still coexisting even after they had that semifinals match with Rhea. And then you obviously have Rhea and Nikki ASH. But I don't know what's going to happen with this women's tag team division now.
And speaking of another, women's division that is sadly going away is, ROH are releasing everybody from their contracts, and they are reporting a hiatus after, the final battle event in December. And that's very sad, as we saw Maria Kanellis, build up, help their division, and we saw Roxy become champion, and now ROH is going on hiatus until who knows? And that's
apparently it starts in the first quarter of 2022, and they're hoping to be back in April for the Super Card of Honor. So it looks like after Final Battle next month, they'll be going on their hiatus. However, I feel like a positive of this that I feel like not enough people are talking about. I mean, even despite this situation, Roxy has honestly been on a complete tear as the Ring of Honor Women's World Champion. I mean, she's had 4 separate title defenses outside of Ring of Honor itself, 4 successful title defenses against like the likes of Killer Kelly at New Texas Pro Wrestling, Lainey Luck at Warrior Wrestling, Promise Braxton at Reality of Wrestling, and of course, most recently at New Texas Pro, literally just a few days ago at their Hocus Pocus show, she not only put her New Texas Pro Wrestling Women's Championship on the line, but her ROH Women's Championship on the line. So despite all of this, Roxy's been on a complete tear, and of course, she is also set to defend her Ring of Honor Women's World Championship at Final Battle against her opponent has not yet been determined. However, there has been 2 triple threat matchups set up to determine the number 1 contender. Willow Nightingale already won the first one, so Willow then will go on to either face Allison Kay, Trish Adora, or Mandy Leone. Whoever wins that triple threat match will go on against Willow Nightingale, and whoever wins that second match then will be determined the number 1 contender against Roxy at Final Battle. So that's coming up next month. There's a lot of sad news going on lately, definitely between Ring of Honor and all of that, but I think Roxy has definitely been a light and has really, I think, brought prestige to this Ring of Honor Women's World Championship as the youngest champion ever in the history of Ring of Honor. And of course, Mickie James is also defending her championship against Madison Rayne coming up late tonight.
I think it's tonight, right?
Tonight?
Thursday. Yeah, Thursday night. Yeah,
coming
tonight.
up. Impact starts in 15 minutes. So there's a lot happening.
She's like, tonight?
Yeah, I had to think of what day it was. It's been that kind of day.
Oh my God.
But yeah, so
we got more positive news as we got MLW this weekend. We have the War Chamber, going on, and we're gonna see like some women's matches, as we're seeing Holly Dead versus Willow Nightingale, and we're also going to see, hang on, I have the match card because I'm going. We're going to see the Sea Stars against Top Dog, so that's going to be exciting. They haven't, I believe, announced any more women's matches. I believe those are the only two for now. They might, add in some that same night because they usually do that. And so that's very exciting, seeing MLW step up women's division. So that's exciting. We saw Nicole joined last time as well. Holly Dead showed up last time, and then we had Brittany Blake, Willow, Sea Stars. So we're getting a lot of people in MLW, and who knows who else they will bring. As we saw Top Dogs come in, so who knows else they will sign. Maybe some of these new people coming in.
Of course, there's obviously positive and negative women's wrestling news going on here, but we are your number one source for women's wrestling news. It looks like maybe there hasn't been any other releases mentioned as of now. So, I mean, as of what, 20 minutes ago, 26 minutes ago, it looks like Eva Marie was the last one announced. So that rounds up to what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is 6, 7, 8, 10 women released today, which is crazy across NXT and the main roster. And of course, like BFAB and Mia Yim Mia Yim got called up last year, but not as Mia Yim. Mia Yim just got drafted to Raw. BFAB got called up to SmackDown. They were literally just on last week. And unfortunately, their tenure has already been cut short. So it looks like that these rounds of releases are over. But if I counted wrong, forgive me, but it looks like at least 10 women were released in this round. A lot of them coming from NXT. And of course, their expertise range from Frankie Monet, who's been wrestling for a decade now and of course made a name for herself in Impact as, I believe, the longest reigning Impact Knockouts champion at one point, if not the longest reigning. Before coming to WWE, of course. And then people like Zayda Ramir, who just made her debut this year. Same with Frankie Monet. And then Scarlett Bordeaux, who we still don't have any answers to of why she wasn't called up with Carrion Cross. So I'm sure we'll be getting some answers once it's been at least confirmed that Frankie and Scarlett have 30-day non-compete clauses. But maybe the biggest shock, I think, is Nia Jax.
I think that was, who knows what also is going on backstage. I know we see them in the dirt sheets all the time. Yeah. This person's fighting with this person's fighting with this person. We don't really know the answers. We're not back there, but
no.
Who knows if something did happen, people don't get along. But you have to put that aside in order to do your work. That's the most important thing, and keep everybody safe. So.
Of course. And of course, Nia Jax is a former Raw Women's Champion, a former WWE Women's Tag Team Champion with Shayna Baszler. She's held multiple championships. And it's just crazy because she's had definitely like a great run in WWE despite, all the ups and downs. She is a multi-time champion in WWE. And I think really, like, she normally was almost always at the top of the wrestling card, even whether it was for the tag team championships or she was kind of always in the hunt for some championship. Obviously, until she split off with Shayna Baszler and they split up their tag team. But I mean, Mia Yim also they broke up the Robert Stone brand with Frankie and Jesse. Zayda Ramir, who just debuted earlier this year. I know she's going to do great things. She has a great indie run too. But I just know that all of these women, and of course everybody released today, is like WWE is not the end all be all anymore. There's so many opportunities outside. I mean, even just even if we're just talking about look at Bound for Glory. You had 4 women who were released on the same day, April 15th, 2021. Peyton Royce, Billie Kay, Chelsea Green, Mickie James, all released from WWE. At Bound for Glory, all 4 of them vied for championships. Obviously, Chelsea Green vied for the Digital Media Championship. The Iconics, now Inspiration, won the Knockouts Tag Team Championships. And Mickie James now is the new Knockouts champion. So I think That doesn't speak volumes. I mean, of course, it sucks to lose your job, but trying to stay positive. And I know all of them, though, will go on to much greater and bigger things. Of course, though, it does still hurt a lot. I'm still very, very sad about a lot of these.
This is definitely gonna, it's hard, but we know better things will come for them. It'll happen. It just sucks right now.
Of course it does. And I mean, if there's proof, I mean, look at what, like I said, Deonna Purrazzo's been able to do. Look at where Mercedes Martinez, she's already been in Shimmer. She's already been killing it on the indies. She's back in Impact Wrestling. She's literally wrestling Mickie James for the Knockouts Championship in a couple weeks. I mean, those are just some examples. A lot of these women have former roots in other promotions or on the indies. So who's to say what could happen in 30 or 90 days?
I have a question for you, though.
Okay.
Do you really think Eva Marie will go somewhere? That's the real question. I don't know if she would per se sign somewhere. The thing is, would she show up anywhere like from time to time at certain shows? I don't know, because I would say no, just because when she does wrestle, it was always with the WWE. She came back, it was with WWE. In between that break that she just focused on the entertainment business and whatever else she was doing, her clothing line and stuff like that. She didn't do any wrestling anywhere else. So I don't know if like maybe this time it changed for her. Maybe, she decided, oh, I want to go do this, probably go somewhere else and wrestle this person. Who knows? Maybe we'll see, but I don't know. I feel like we won't see that.
She was gone from wrestling for 5 years and is only gone to WWE. I don't know her aspirations anymore.
But that's like a question. Do you think that she would go to different promotions and wrestle? In my opinion, in those 5 years that she was gone, I honestly don't think
no. And I mean, she has a lot to fall back on. She has her own clothing brand. She's obviously like a fitness ambassador too, as well. Like she's built her own empire outside of wrestling. It's just sad
not
though.
Saying that's not a bad thing.
No,
yeah.
But I mean, there was just never really no closure between the whole Dewdrop thing. Although I am happy though that maybe Dewdrop can get a proper singles run in this coming up on Raw. I don't know what's going to happen. Definitely SmackDown is tomorrow. They kind of have to explain B-Fab's absence. So I guess SmackDown will really be the real teller of how they're going to explain some people's absences.
Well, speaking of their third quarter reports, apparently their revenue was reported at $255.8 million for the third quarter and this year, and it was an increase of 15%, which was $34.2 million.
So they increased their revenue. Okay.
It's okay.
And all of these releases were apparently due to budget cuts, as cited by Sean Ross Sapp. So yeah, that pretty much. I mean, there's a lot more happening. We'll see, obviously, on SmackDown tomorrow how they explain B-Fab's absence from Hit Row. And also, Robert Stone is now alone. He does no longer have Frankie Monet nor Jessi Kamea. So it will be interesting how they explain those absences on NXT next week, if they even do. Mia Yim is gone. Keith Lee is gone. Eva Marie. Granted, Eva Marie was a free agent.
Nia Jax, Scarlett Bordeaux.
I'm wondering if they're even going to acknowledge some of them. I don't know. We'll see tomorrow on SmackDown.
I think the one they have to do is definitely Hit Row. Like, what are they gonna do? They were on TV and they were a team. Like, and they replacing her. I can't see them replacing her. I feel like they won't let that happen. But like, where do they go from there? They're gonna have to address that one. That's like a big one that they have to do.
Definitely. So yeah, that about wraps up this Women's Wrestling Talk news edition. We will definitely keep you updated on next week's edition if any other stories come to light. I'm sure a lot is going to happen this next week. Obviously, Frankie Monet and Scarlett Bordeaux have been confirmed to have a 30-day non-compete clause. I don't know if the main roster girls are going to have a 90-day like a Nia Jax BFAB. We don't really know, but we'll definitely keep you updated next week on the news edition. If more comes to light, I'm sure a lot more will. But Samira, before we head out of here, can you please tell the people where they can find you?
Well, thank you everybody for joining us tonight. I want to definitely say that this was fun. This was my first, doing the news for Women's Wrestling Talk. So this was fun. Where you can find me, I do interviews obviously on my YouTube channel, youtube.com/ITSSAMIRA. It's Samira, and you can find me on my social media on Twitter and Instagram at THEITSSAMIRA. The It's Samira, where you can see it below on, the thing right there. And then I also do interviews for SC Scoops and Wrestling News Co. You can follow me on my account to see when they get posted, or you can also follow them. But keep up with us, Ella.
And you can follow me right where it says below at It's Ella Jay on Twitter. If you go to the link in my bio there, you will see a link tree with all my links to Women's Wrestling Talk, Bell to Bells, a Wrestling Gal, WrestleZone, SC Scoops, and merch and a lot of other things. But like I said, if you go to my Twitter at It's Ella Jay, you can find most of all the links of where you can find me. And of course, follow Women's Wrestling Talk on all of our social medias at WW Talk Pod. That's WWTALK POD. And of course, our website is www.talkpod.com. Thank you for watching Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling show on the planet. And of course, we hope to have some more positive news for next week coming out of this. We'll see what happens. But of course, we send our best of luck and love to everybody released today. I know they will soar to new heights in whatever venture they decide to go on to next. But thank you for tuning in for this really live edition of Women's Wrestling Talk. Thanks, everybody.